What's up, Mets fans? Welcome back to the channel, and we have a massive discussion we had today, folks, because we all know the Mets aren't done making moves. Pre-lockout, they showed interest in at least one more position player, a big bat, if you will. And as long as their mindset hasn't drastically changed during this time, they fully intend to do so post-lockout. And with numerous players being available in free agency that makes sense for this team, there's one player in particular that's been a lot of rumors and reports of recent, that of course being in Kyle Schwarber. So that's what I'll be breaking down in today's video. Everything that there is to know about Kyle Schwarber and his game, his current connection, if at all, with the New York Mets, the likelihood, unlikelihood of him actually landing in Queens. Now, his former teammate and Mad Max Scherzer very well could be the X factor in potentially landing him, and so much more. So as always, folks, make sure you stay all the way till the end of the video. Follow the detail on my thoughts on Kyle Schwarber and his current connection with the New York Mets. And again, folks, if you find yourself enjoying this kind of Mets content and you want to see more great Mets content like this, don't hesitate from smashing that like and subscribe button, sharing this video with your friends, on the notification bell, all those great things. Thank you all so much for the continued support, folks. Now let's jump right into today's video. But before I go any further, folks, I have to let you all know that today's video is brought to you by DraftKings Sportsbook. The NFL playoffs are here, and DraftKings Sportsbook, the official sports betting partner of the NFL, is kicking things off with a huge offer. Counting down to Super Bowl 56, new customers can get 56-1 odds on any wildcard team to win their game. Bet just $5 and win $280 in free bets if your team is victorious. And yes, you heard that correctly. Again, just bet $5 and you get $280 in free bets if your team wins. It's truly a win-win scenario. And if Sportsbook isn't available in your state yet, you still have something to play for this wildcard weekend. Everyone can, of course, play for huge cash prizes with DraftKings daily fantasy football contests. And best of all, DraftKings is giving all their new customers a free shot at millions of dollars in total prizes with their first deposit. So at this point, what are you waiting for, right? Download DraftKings Sportsbook app right now, use my code LGM, and automatically get 56-1 odds on any NFL team. Again, just bet $5 and win $280 in free bets if your team wins. That's promo code LGM at DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL. So as many of you know by now, all this Kyle Schwarber talk and speculation stems from a January 7th report, that being from Mike Puma of the New York Post, coming out with this article stating the following: how yes, Kyle Schwarber could be a fit for the New York Mets, and Max Scherzer could be a reason as to why it happens. And of course, folks, if you want to check it out, links in the description as always to that article. There's a paywall, but don't worry, I'll be breaking down all the important stuff here, specifically how Mike Puma references the sources that he's connected with are stating how Max Scherzer, the man who did have a say in Buck Showalter and advocating for him, at least not necessarily in the hire, but saying through his process of signing with the Mets, talking about the managerial position, that he was in favor of no one more than Buck Showalter, how he's doing the same and trying to do this prodding with Billy Epler, the GM for the Mets, and landing his former teammate in Kyle Schwarber, Schwarber being the free agent, the big bat. He spent time, of course, with Max Scherzer in DC for right around half the season or so, because Schwarber then was traded to the Boston Red Sox, where he had great success when he came back from his injury. Max Scherzer was traded at the deadline as well, along with Trey Turner, but not to the Red Sox, but rather the LA Dodgers. So even though they don't have a long-lasting relationship, Scherzer has clearly seen enough of him to actually be advocating for him. And the Mets are going to pride and really take with the utmost seriousness the type of suggestions, if you will, that someone of Max Scherzer's caliber has. Is that going to be the bona fide, the one X factor into why the Mets would be signing someone like Schwarber? No, of course not. It goes beyond just a player advocating for him. We know that by now. But us Mets fans know Kyle Schwarber all too well for all the wrong reasons. This man, in one season alone, became one of the best Mets killers of all time. He's up there with the greats. He truly is. Reminded me a lot of Josh Donaldson during his 1 year with the Braves. That's how dominant this guy was. It was not fun being a Mets fan. He hit 10 home runs against us during his time with both DC and the Red Sox. Yes, even when he was in the AL, he still killed the Mets whenever he played them. He was just that good. And his 28-year-old season, 7th MLB season, first year out of Chicago, where he spent his entire career with the Cubs, won a World Series with them in 2016, but in 2021 had one of, if not his best offensive year to date in a lot of ways. In over 100 games played, 113 to be exact, he had himself 32 home runs, 76 runs scored, 71 RBIs, a 266, a 374, and a 554 clip. His best WRC plus of his career at 145, and his best WAR of his career at 3.1. So for someone who was a -10 per Fangraphs defensively made up for it with the offensive production at right around 25 plus. So looking great in that category, was just hitting absolute piss missiles left and right. A fantastic plate approach as it is when you look at his advanced numbers here through Baseball Savant. Look at these percentiles. The walk rate's insane. The swing and miss rate is actually crazy. K rate, yes, it isn't awesome, but for him, with his plate discipline as a slugger, it's awfully impressive. And that exit velo is truly just something else for Schwarber, who has multiple seasons with 20 to 30 home runs. We're looking at 60, 70, 80, 90 plus RBIs. His career season was back in 2019 with 38 home runs, 92 RBIs, a 250, 339, 531 clip. Really doing it all. And for someone that has been inconsistent in recent years, who was really cut non-tendered by the Chicago Cubs after the 2020 shortened season, took a prove-it deal on a one-year deal with the Nationals, is now looking for a big payday this free agency once the lockout is lifted for whatever team is going to get the chance to acquire him. But something that was so important from Mike Puma's article as well was that before the Mets would jump the gun and potentially sign someone like Kyle Schwarber, they need to figure out what the fate is of Dominic Smith and Jeff McNeil, because these are two guys right now with a lot of uncertainties, given all the trade rumors going around with them, what their futures are going to be. And if the Mets were to bring in Kyle Schwarber, they have a lot of guys that profile at the DH position. You have Dominic Smith, JD Davis, Robinson Cano, even though he unfortunately still on the Mets. It'll be interesting to see how they utilize him, maybe just off the bench, maybe as their DH if they really want to go down that route. Maybe they somehow eat that contract and part ways with him. I do not think that contract is going to be a detriment to the Mets making a push in this offseason still for other players and trying to have success. But still, you have Kyle Schwarber. He profiles awfully similar to someone like Dominic Smith. Two guys that can play left field, do not play good. They're far below average, to put it lightly. And guys that make sense at the DH position as a lefty bat, because at first base, Pete Alonso has that on lock. But really, when you look at what the Mets are trying to do here, let's say hypothetically that they do trade Dominic Smith. Let's say that they do trade JD Davis, or those guys that really are DH fits. Okay, Kyle Schwarber, he's a better fit for you at DH. But the big thing is the Mets have been focusing on shorter term deals all offseason for the most part. Starling Marte was the farthest that they went on 4 years because they had to. They were in a bidding war with other teams, rightfully so, with the same team that is showing heavy interest in Kyle Schwarber leading into the lockout, that being in the Philadelphia Phillies. They would love a guy like Schwarber in that offense. So are the Mets willing to say go 4 years, $70 million, which is what the assumed contract would be for someone like Schwarber's services right now, for a DH, a guy that has very little versatility outside of playing a subpar corner outfield? Again, to put it lightly, is that something that the Mets want to go down? Or would they say prefer someone that I advocated for and still do at this point on a shorter term deal, like a one-year deal for Boomstick, that being a Nelson Cruz? If you're looking for a guy on the market that could be your DH fit, that makes so much sense, that still has plenty pop in his bat. Again, links in the description as always, folks, to that video if you haven't checked it out already. I think the Mets probably want to go down a shorter term route DH wise. Is it impossible to suggest that they will go down a longer term route for Schwarber by the time that contract's up? He's 32. No, I don't think it's impossible. I just don't know how likely it is from what the Mets have proven to us this offseason. They like guys with versatility. So if you're going to commit multiple years to a player, a guy that doesn't have versatility, and a guy that needs a DH more than anything, and the Mets need to make sure that they have a universal DH, it's really just a big question mark on if that is really the best fit for the Mets. That's the route they want to go down. Again, price-wise, that's not a problem. $70 million potentially over 4 years. I like that contract. The Mets can definitely afford it. But whether or not they want to commit like that is a real big question mark right now. But there is no denying that Kyle Schwarber with this offense will be simply dominant. He's one of the best leadoff hitters in the game right now, the top of the order. And the Mets have so many leadoff hitters that would bode well. Brandon Nimmo, Jeff McNeil when he's on, Starling Marte, Francisco Lindor, and Kyle Schwarber. Got 5 guys that can all handle the top of the lineup without a problem. This guy's an amazing plate approach, even for a slugger. Him and Pete Alonso in this offense, oh my goodness, just the thought of that is so exciting. But again, to suggest that this is the route that makes the most sense for the Mets is something that I can't necessarily say I agree with at this point in time. If they find themselves going heavy after him and Max Scherzer really does become that X factor, then okay, I'll be excited about it. I would love Schwarber on this team. I advocated for him in an offseason outlook video I did with my good friend Jolly Olive, who has a great Mets podcast. Links in the description as always to that video if you want to check it out. Heading into the offseason, we discuss our picks for each position. At DH, as you see here, I talked about Kyle Schwarber as potential fit. I thought he really would be a good fit for the Mets, and I stand by that. But whether or not they want to go more than, say, 1 or 2 years for a DH fit, a guy that doesn't have defensive versatility, he's a defensive liability, that's a really, really big question that we are hopefully soon going to find out. But that'll do it for this video, folks. So let me know all your thoughts in the comments below. How do you feel about Kyle Schwarber potentially coming to the New York Mets? Do you like that fit? Do you not like that fit? Do you think it's realistic, unrealistic? who do you want to see at DH for the New York Mets potentially in 2022, assuming the universal DH is implemented through the new CBA and put in place? Whatever your thoughts are, please make sure to let me know, folks. And again, if you found yourself enjoying this kind of Mets content and you want to see more great Mets content like this, don't hesitate from smashing that like and subscribe button, sharing this video with your friends, on the notification bell, all those great things. Thank you all so much for the continued support, folks. Love and appreciate you all. Expect more great content here on WardyNYM very soon, especially in a live stream, hopefully discussing more Kyle Schwarber in the near future and so much more. Thank you again, folks. And of course, let's go Mets, baby.